All right, let's talk about LSU's football schedule. I was a little bit taken off guard yesterday when this came out. I thought we were just doing permanent opponents. I didn't know we were coming out with 4 years worth of opponents, which they did. And so I wrote about it at LouisianaSports.net, kind of my biggest takeaways from the announcement yesterday with LSU's schedule for the next 4 years. And I think all of you now at this point have seen it. I had 3 main takeaways. Number one, next year, if you are an LSU football season ticket holder, like, you are getting a monstrous bang for your buck. Like, it is, it's incredible what LSU gets at home next year, because you have Clemson out of conference, obviously, and also you're getting an absolutely loaded SEC slate that features Alabama, Texas, Texas A&M. So Clemson, Alabama, Texas A&M, plus you get Mississippi State as well. Like, that is a ridiculous home slate for LSU next year. If that's what you're in it for, awesome. Do I think that makes it difficult when you're a first-year quarterbacked program that loses a ton of production of this 2025 team to go out there in 2026 against those big heavyweights, even in Tiger Stadium? Like, yeah, I think that makes it tough. But if you're in it for the big games, like, that's a great deal for you, having those big brands coming into Tiger Stadium next year. I've got my eyes on the odd seasons, though, 2027 and 2029, as years that I really like the way that the opponents break for LSU. In 2027, which is 2 years from now, obviously, Clemson rolls off the schedule. You don't have Clemson anymore, and you bring Houston on. You're going to go to Houston to play them. That's a Big 12 team. And look, I'm not here to tell you I'm going to be able to identify Houston's roster 2 years in advance. All of this stuff is subject to massive sweeping changes in every single program, every single year, and I fully recognize how that plays out. But Houston, to me, generally speaking, not going to be quite as good as Clemson, and LSU should be able to handle themselves against the Houston Cougars more years than not. That's a favorable draw in the non-conference. And then you look at the fact that in the odd years, speaking of 2027, you get 5 of your 9 SEC games at home, and these are your home games. Arkansas, they're a mess right now. Missouri, nice program. Oklahoma, who knows at this point, but blue blood. Ole Miss, decent under Lane Kiffin, but not exactly a blue blood in the sport. And Vanderbilt, who, given their flowers, they played nice football the last year and a half. It's still Vanderbilt. You're not talking about traditional SEC powers here in Arkansas, Missouri, Oklahoma, Ole Miss, and Vanderbilt. So theoretically, if you can handle your business against Houston and those teams at home, which is a big if, but just work with me in this exercise, that is a favorable draw that then allows you to go on the road and have a little room for error in the era of a 12-team playoff. Yeah, you got to go to Georgia that year. Like, that's going to be a really hard game to win, assuming Kirby Smart's still in Athens, and I feel like he probably will be. But you have wiggle room. Yeah, you got to go to Texas A&M. Like, that's a tough place to play. You got to go to Florida. Well, they're a mess right now. We'll see. You got to go to South Carolina. Well, Lenore Sellers won't be there for that game, and who knows what they'll be. But what I'm suggesting is if you can win at home and handle your business against Houston, you've got room to wiggle around there. You don't play Texas. You don't play Alabama. You don't play Tennessee. Like, I like that, the way that schedule breaks. Plus, decent chance, and this is a projection that could prove very false. If you have a starting quarterback next year that's not out of eligibility, theoretically could be back the next year in the second year in the program. Nussmeier, 2-year starter. Daniels, 2-year starter. Burrow, 2-year starter. Like, you had a lot of 2-year starters, and you generally are a little bit better in the second year. That could be the second year for a new starter post-Nussmeier. I like the way that breaks in that year. And then if you talk about 2029, which is 2 years after that, I feel like you miss Alabama, you miss Texas, you miss Tennessee, you miss Auburn. And 2 of your road trips that year, you only have 4 in the league. 2 of your road trips are Missouri and Vanderbilt. Those are very, very winnable generally. Nice team Missouri's got this year. Nice team Vanderbilt's the last year and a half. But it's Missouri and Vanderbilt. We're talking nationally, historically, not great programs. Then you got to go to Oklahoma and Texas A&M, but you have Georgia and Florida coming to you. Georgia's first time in 11 years. And then Arkansas, Ole Miss, South Carolina at home. Generally speaking, Arkansas, Ole Miss, South Carolina in Tiger Stadium, you're pretty good in those years. So I think that the odd years are more advantageous to LSU. One, because you've got 5 home games to the 4. And I think that next year is blockbuster for season tickets. That's the biggest takeaway I have for this. I think that the league did a really nice job of making this as equitable as possible. I like the idea that you go everywhere in a 4-year span. I like the idea that you play everyone over a 2-year span. I think that this works. You're always going to have somebody who cries foul. I've been on the internet a lot over the last 24 hours. I haven't seen a lot of people crying foul. If you like the big-time matchups, you're getting the big-time matchups. If you like variety, you're getting variety. It's tough any year, in any format that's going to force the league to put you on your home field 4 times and on a road field 5 times. That's a tough way to make a living because it's hard to win on the road, but it's the only way to make it happen because you're not going to 10 league games. That's not happening in the playoff era. So, personally, I've got my eyes on 2027 and 2029. But if you see things differently than me, which is perfectly acceptable, you got your eyes on next year, just understanding that not going to have a lot of these wide receivers, not going to have your quarterback, not going to have most of the guys who are doing a heavy lifting on defense. You're going to have to restock the shelves significantly for next year, but you'll have power brands coming out of that end zone in the southeast end zone in Tiger Stadium coming up next year. So I've got a write-up on the website right now at louisianasports.net that dives into my thoughts on all this. Got some statistics, got all the matchups, got the tweets that lay everything out. I know it's hard to visualize all of these things bouncing around in your head, but I think it's a good job by the league of putting together a schedule that feels equitable, that gives variety, still got massive matchups, and you feel like a lot of your rivalries are kept intact, even if some of them are not annually. You're still going to play them every other year. So I like it. 4 years of LSU football. We kind of got the roadmap yesterday on the SEC network. Hey, thanks for watching Hunt on LSU. Before you get out of here, do us a couple of favors. Hit that like button, leave your comments below, and subscribe to the channel for all your Fighting Tiger football talk. See you next time.